What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, the non-card market is officially here. It was put out with today's release, and this is exciting stuff, guys. So let me first just walk through this and then give a little background as to why I think this is going to be an important development overall for the ecosystem. So if you want to get to the non-card market, all you do is you click this market button, and you'll see here, this looks very familiar. You get to your card sales, your card rentals. The top kind of portion here looks much cleaner, much easier to read now. I like that. This is the only thing I don't like. Why is land sales still on here? This is, I mean, this should have been taken off because it's not coming soon. It's actually been 2 years, and this is just a wasted tab here that's going to confuse new players. So no idea why that's on there. But you go to other items, and this is where you can find the non-card market. Now, they have a bunch of filters on the left here. Again, I think this looks really clean. I like the way that it's laid out. I like the way that it looks. It feels nice, at least from what I've been able to do so far. You can see here more filters, price up, price down. You can see different ways in which you can view the data. Again, it's basic stuff, but it took a while for this to come out, just due to the fact that tech modernization was such a bottleneck. So you look at the left here, packs. You can look at your alpha, beta, or your core packs, or your expansion packs. You get your mini games. Oh, that's what they're defining this as, mini games. That's kind of cool. And then, as everybody wanted, land, totems, and titles are the other three items here that you normally would have had to go over to Hive Engine for. But here they now exist in-game where you can buy them. Now, again, it's the same thing for the packs as well. And keep in mind, these are two separate markets. So there are, for example, 3 alpha packs listed for sale here that you could go in and buy. But there are also packs available on Hive Engine. So I don't know if there's any kind of arbitrage, but I do believe that arbitrage won't last long. If you get lucky, you might get something in real quick, but it's not, I'm sure bots will be looking at that, and people, the hive mind is going to be on top of it. So I would assume that any kind of discrepancies are going to be small or insignificant. The good thing, though, is that there's no fees to transfer in and out. So if you do see an arbitrage, you could buy a pack from the non-card market and then sell it on Hive Engine, or vice versa. But again, that's not really where I'm going to be spending my time. But for those of you with more time or keener eyes, or have the drive and motivation, you do you. These are two separate markets. Now, what is interesting with non-card market, and why I think that this is such a huge step for the team, the game, the company, is one, it makes things much easier for newer players to get onboarded. Okay, so you come into the game and you want to buy packs. Well, first, if you wanted to, you'd have to go buy packs on the main site if you were a newer player. So come on, I put my teams in already. And this is the only place that you could do it. You need to have your DEC. You could use credits, whatever the case is. But now you go over to the non-card market, and you can see secondary packs are available for sale for significantly cheaper, like half price, essentially, right? So $1.80 for the same Chaos Legion pack here. Again, for newer players, you'll have to understand that you won't be able to, get the benefits of airdrop points for the upcoming legendary summoners. But that's a point in which hopefully people will be able to gather from the main sales page, which is under the shop. So the reason I think that this is great is because now you can come in and, for example, let's say I did want to buy a Chaos Legion pack. You could actually choose to buy it in DEC as you normally would, or in credits. So this makes fiat onboarding so much easier. Now, we may not think about that with something like packs, but when you go to the other items, something that's a little bit more expensive, let's say, so let's just go with all the land. So for example, right, like moving $145 or getting that onto Hive Engine can be a little difficult for those who are not crypto savvy. But if you're here, all you do is you swipe your credit card and you can pay with credits and buy a plot of land for $145 right this minute. So to me, this makes onboarding fiat a much easier thing for the player base. And on the flip side of that, for the company, now they have operating revenue that they don't need to worry about converting right out of DEC. So if they were going to receive DEC, they don't have to worry about that because they'll receive it in US dollars through PayPal or whatever, whatever the credits end up using. I believe it's PayPal. And so now they don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about converting it, nor do they have to worry about the value of it fluctuating, right? Like if I want to pay $145 for a land plot or anything within the non-card market, I can spend that $145 and it's going to go to the team as $145 minus whatever fees or whatever, right? So keep in mind, the team, that's not for the team though. That is for the $145 is I'm paying to like JigStrike here. But the team receives the $145 USD, and then at that point in time, they pay out on the back end DEC. So they're putting the DEC back out into circulation, paying off the back end to JigStrike, which is the seller. But for the team, they get to essentially swap out DEC for USD without having to worry about conversion fees and use that as operating revenue. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, what's the benefit of that? Why is that so important? Again, I think we saw within the last couple of weeks, the team is trying to ensure the survival and longevity of the game. Excuse me. And so, I don't think that there is a risk now, at least not in the way that there was maybe a couple of weeks ago, simply due to the fact that they laid off 45% of the staff, which again, that's a big move. There are real people impacted by that. I'm not trying to minimize it, but I am trying to say that I think the team did what they needed to do. Let's put it that way. They did what they needed to do to ensure that they would have a long enough runway to survive any kind of further bear market. They also said that they were going to raise some capital, but that's outside the scope of this video. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that, well, this gives them easy operating revenue, whether they have to pay salaries, whether they have to pay expenses, keep the lights on, whatever the case is, they're now receiving that in USD every single time a transaction is made on the non-card market. I think that's awesome. I think that's helpful. Again, I don't know what if the team views it that way, but at least if I was running a business, I would view this as a, something that makes my life much easier in terms of operating within the Web 2 world, right? So using credits, USD, and dollars or whatever kind of fiat currencies, and keeping the value still within the Web 3 world. So DEC, cryptocurrency, all that fun stuff. So I think that this is a great addition. Obviously, this came in a lot later than many of us were expecting, but that was the tech modernization. That was the tech modernization bottleneck that we saw. Which now that it's done, right? Because that came out a couple of weeks ago. We're now seeing things like non-card market, which means that land should technically be right around the corner because non-card market was considered land phase 0, and land phase 0 is here. Now, they've already said we are not going to get land phase 1 before the end of the year, but they are going to try to push out land 0.5 or phase 0.5. So, I'm not as excited about that. It's just going to show you where on the map your land is. It's not going to tell you what your plot is or what your, what kind of resources or legendary or rarity, I should say. So it's not that exciting, but hopefully they do get that out by the end of the year or within the next 2 weeks, really is the development windows that they have, release windows that they have on Tuesdays. And then we can get the rest of land phase 1 early next year, at which point that will be interesting for the non-card market because for the most part, people could go through and buy the packs if they really needed to. You could figure out how to use Hive Engine, and whether it's tutorials or just talking with the community, I was able to figure it out on my own without there being any major tutorials. So I feel like most people, if they really wanted to, they could go and do it. But in the future, once land actually gets opened up, once you open your packs of land, right? So you redeem your land, you redeem your claim, I believe, and for a deed, and then you unwrap that deed to see exactly what your land holds. I think there's actually going to be a lot of traffic and volume happening within land sales. And for someone like myself, I have my 2 plots. I'm happy. I'm going to unwrap those and I'm going to keep those. But if I want to buy a new land, I'm not buying plots now. I'm going to wait to see how the market shakes out after we get our land revealed and we know exactly what to expect from each of these things. And I know I'm not the only one because once that happens, it's going to be just like cards on the market after packs are opened. people are going to go through and they're going to buy certain pieces of land or plots of land that, maybe jive with what they're trying to, maybe they want to be the desert guy. Maybe they want to be the swamp guy, right? They want to have all the swamps or as many swamps as possible to gather all those materials and kind of have a chokehold on those materials. Who knows, right? I mean, it's going to be a free and open market, so people will be able to interact with it how they please. So when that happens, I think there's going to be a lot of traffic that drives in here. Again, a lot of that, I believe there's probably still a 5% fee on here. So you're going to get that fee going towards the team or to one of these third-party markets. I know Peak Monsters wants to implement this as well. And hopefully Peak Monsters implement something nice the way that they did with cards. So to me, I think that this is going to be great for the team, for the game. All around, there's going to be a lot of benefits in it. I am super excited. It did take a little bit longer than we were hoping for, but it's here now, and we officially have Land Phase 0. So for all of you waiting for Land Phase 0 is officially out, and it seems to be running smoothly. I haven't bought anything on here, but you can see that in the last 24 hours, again, this hasn't even been out for 24 hours, but there's already $3,000 of volume, so people are buying and selling on here. And I would recommend, if you have stuff for sale on Hive Engine, maybe you just transact with it here. Again, I don't know. You'll have to weigh the fees. You have to weigh the ease of use, see what the volume is here, what your things are. Maybe the fees are a big part of it, because if it is going to be a 5% fee as opposed to something like Hive Engine, I wonder if that arbitrage is going to represent itself in the price difference. But that remains to be seen. It's too early to tell right now, because I think there's still a lot of people still figuring this out overall. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you used the non-card market at all yet to buy or sell? How are you thinking about this? Do you agree with my assessment of it? Is this going to be good for the game, bad for the game, mediocre for the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.